man and consecrate myself to the service of the nation. It is then my lawful duty to give aid to any person who reaches out to the OVP seeking relief. I must do justice to every man, and I intend to do so. Historically, the medical and burial assistance programs have always been continuing projects of the institution. The legacy projects that we envision, however, includes a permanent office for future vice presidents, a vice president museum, and for the OVP to have its own charter. Unfortunately, the latter projects may never come to fruition given the political climate surrounding the institution. The programs, activities, and projects of the OVP that are original to my term are those that echo my campaign platform of trabaho, edukasyon, at mapayapang pamumuhay. More importantly, these also embody the nature of constant requests and pleas for assistance that we have been receiving in the OVP, majority of which are the medical and burial assistance, followed by assistance for financial difficulties, livelihood, and support for school-related expenses, as well as immediate aid when calamities strike. Aspiring to provide responsive service even to geographically isolated and disadvantaged communities, the OVP established 10 satellite offices, 2 extension offices, a disaster operations center, and extended programs such as the medical and burial assistance, Libreng Sakay, Kalusugan food trucks, and the Pansarap project, Pagbabago, A Million Learners and Trees campaign, Magnegosyo Taday, and relief operations for individuals during crisis and emergencies. These programs fall under the banners of peace, poverty alleviation, calamity response, health, education, and environmental stewardship. These form part of the oath I have taken, as these are repeatedly mentioned and provided for in our Constitution. On the matter of OVP projects being similar to the mandate of other government offices, there is certainly no agency that has the monopoly of government services. No office of the government should be so helpless as to deny assistance to a person in distress. After all, the duty of government is to afford our countrymen with faithful public service. Corollary to this is the issue of politics being involved in relation to the national budget and release of financial assistance. We need not go further than the statement of Senator Amy Marcos during the Senate budget hearing, wherein she corroborated our claim and said, "Ang sasabihin ko lang, hindi naman sa barangay lamang napupolitika ang ayuda, pati dito sa mga senador, pati sa ating pangalawang Pangulo." I shall now address the issues that are germane to the use of public funds. It is my belief that it would be a stretch, if not absurd, to compare the budget of my immediate predecessor to the present budget proposal. We do not have personal knowledge as to why she did not request for a fair budget for her projects. On the issue of security personnel, it must be clarified that during the time of my predecessors, the protection team was only limited to the Vice Presidential Security Detachment. During my term, however, there were legal issuances made by the DND, AFP, PNP, and NAPOLCOM for the creation of the AFP Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group and the PNP Vice Presidential Protection Division. It must also be clarified that the number of security personnel is not determined by the OVP. We are mere recipients of the security personnel detailed to the office. To date, there are no more PNP personnel in the OVP. On the issue of confidential funds, we have received audit actions regarding the confidential funds of the OVP. We have submitted our responses and we assure our full cooperation with the ongoing audit. I am, however, bewildered as to the issues being propagated and the fact that we were able to efficiently utilize funds given to the OVP in December 2022, considering that in the government, usually we disperse millions, if not billions of pesos in a single day. And what makes it even more perplexing is that government agencies are often criticized for low budget utilization rates. For this proposal, as an example, we were even required to explain the low utilization or disbursement rates and present a catch-up plan for such. Turning on the issue of the book I have written, ang libro na pinamagatang Isang Kaibigan ay ginagamit namin sa book donation at book reading or storytelling sessions sa mga paaralang binibisita ko. Isinasagawa namin ito upang mahikayat ang mga bata na mahalin ang pagbabasa at sumulat ng sarili nilang kwento. The inclusion of my name and image on the About the Author page is a common practice for authors and is not intended as a political move. More importantly, the project recipients of the book are elementary students and grade 7 learners. This belies any insinuation of political motives, as they will not even be eligible to vote for 2028. Which then brings us to the matter of impeachment. Bilang isang kaibigan, I will not violate the confidence of a few members of the House of Representatives who have either recorded conversations or participated in shared conversations regarding each impeachment proceedings against me. Nonetheless, this is nothing new. Talks of impeachment have been ongoing for several months now. In fact, a member of the lower house has publicly declared in an interview where she was quoted by the Philippine Daily Inquirer saying that in light of the possible numerous violations of the OVP on the use of the 125 million confidential fund, which is not in the 2022 General Appropriations Act, we are not discounting the fact that it may file an impeachment case against the Vice President. Surprisingly, despite the absence of proof as to any wrongdoing, she already revealed the grounds for impeachments when she was also quoted saying as, especially on the misuse of public funds, technical malversation, and violation of the 1987 Constitution. Finally, on the issue of the West Philippine Sea, I stand by the Constitution, which provides that the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy in its relations with other states. The paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. As Filipinos, we are all in agreement that our claim is firmly anchored on the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas and the 2016 Arbitral Award. But we must also bear in mind that bilateral relations are not dictated by a singular issue or concern like a territorial dispute, but rather by a comprehensive approach that considers the broader context of shared interests and regional stability. While silence on specific harassment issues may be perceived as a lack of response, it is essential to recognize that such decisions are made following established mandates and particular responsibilities of relevant agencies. It is well settled that the President is the chief architect of foreign policy. It therefore follows that appropriate agencies are tasked with addressing and implementing measures related to our foreign policy positions and principles. As a reserve officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, I sincerely appreciate the sacrifices made by our uniformed personnel in the service of our national interests. However, it is crucial to avoid politicizing their sacrifices for media mileage or social media commentary. Instead, we should focus on ensuring that their efforts are recognized and valued in a manner that respects their contributions and upholds the dignity of their service, which we in the OVP continue to do and have always chosen to do away with the cameras. I shall now proceed to the PowerPoint presentation of the salient points of the OVP budget proposal for fiscal year 2025. May I request the Secretariat for the PowerPoint presentation? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We present the key points from our submitted documents in response to the request of the committee. On item number 1, on the highlights and major thrusts of fiscal year 2025 proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President, under the fiscal year 2025 of the National Expenditure Program, the Department of Budget and Management has recommended a budget of 2.03 billion vis-a-vis the 3.240 billion proposal of the Office of the Vice President. The amount recommended is 8.05% higher than the fiscal year 2024 budget as appropriated. The 8% increase is lodged in the expansion of the socio-economic programs, medical and burial assistance, and disaster relief. Out of the 2.37 billion budget, 9.25 pertains to the recommended personnel services budget. The recommended personnel services budget for fiscal year 2025 covers 149 field positions, special duty allowance for military and uniformed personnel, salary for non-permanent positions. It also includes provision for terminal leave benefits of mandatory retirees, loyalty award, and anniversary bonus for OVP personnel. The total personal services, including RLIP for fiscal year 2025 is 188.514 million. The recommended maintenance and other operating expenses, or MOOE, for fiscal year 2025 is equivalent to 1.792 billion. A significant portion of the total MOOE is allocated for financial assistance and subsidies and supplies and materials welfare goods, which account for 52.86% and 15.92% of the total MOOE. The MOOE is 87.98% of the total budget. The total capital outlay budget is 2.77% of the total recommended budget. This covers the procurement of motor vehicles in relation to the ceremonial, diplomatic, and advocacy-based engagements of the OVP. It also includes ICT equipment and various machineries and equipment. As to the appropriation source, the amount of 2.26 billion or 99.5% is under agency-specific and 0.05% is under the retirement and life insurance premium, or RLIP. On item number 2, the matter of budget utilization for the first semester of fiscal year 2024. Out of the current full year allotment of 1.885 billion pesos, the OVP has utilized 785.1 million as of the end of the first semester of 2024, which is equivalent to an obligation rate of 42%. We have disbursed 516.7 million with a disbursement rate of 66%. Based on the combined current year and continuing appropriations, the first semester obligation rate is 40%, while the disbursement rate is 70%. The budget utilization rate for our key programs are as follows. For financial subsidy, which covers the medical and burial assistance and livelihood grants under the Magnegosyo Taday program, the utilization rate is at 41%. For libreng sakay, it's 25%. For Pagbabago program, it is 82% based on awarded contracts, but actual distribution only started in the second semester. For the Pansarap program, 4%. Procurement was still under the post-qualification stage as of the end of the first semester. And as for disaster operation, 78%. On item number 3, which is the comparative budget allocation from 2019 to 2025. The appropriated budget of the OVP beginning 2019 is above 500 million. It has significantly increased since then, and under the current year appropriation, the OVP has 1.885 billion, while the appropriation has significantly increased in 2023. The obligation rate remained in good standing and maintained the rate of above 90%. Presented here is a table showing the amounts per allotment class from 2019 to 2025. For fiscal year 2025, the OVP has a recommended amount of 2.037 billion under the fiscal year 2025 National Expenditure Program. Similar to fiscal year 2024 budget, significant portion of the recommended level is under financial assistance and subsidy for the implementation of the medical and burial assistance, as well as the OVP's livelihood project, Magnegosyo Tanay. The recommended fiscal year 2025 budget is 8.05% higher than the fiscal year 2024 budget as appropriated due to the expansion of the socio-economic services of the OVP, which is proposed under Tier 2. Of the total OVP proposed budget, 1.269 billion or 62% is allotted for the socio-economic programs of the OVP. On item 4, which is on the issues and concerns in budget execution resulting to low utilization, we would like to note that the 40% obligation rate for the first semester is close to our submitted first semester target of 43%. Bulk of the budget of the OVP is for subsidies, which we intend to spread out and utilize evenly throughout the year. We achieved almost the same utilization rates for the first semesters of the previous year, but we were still able to achieve more than the 90% budget utilization at the end of the year. For 2022, first semester utilization rate was at 50%, while the full year utilization rate was at 92%. For 2023, the first semester utilization rate was at 43.6%, while the full year utilization rate was also at 92%. We also have programs which are to be implemented in the second semester of the year, specifically the Pagbabago and Pansarap programs, which we roll out during the start of the new school year, which begins in June, July, August. Another reason for the utilization rate is the ongoing paper review for the applications received for the Magnegosyo Tanay. Sorry, just July and August. There are no classes during the month of June. The disbursement rate of 70% over obligation was due to the unbilled medical assistant grants through various service providers from 10 satellite offices and the central office, as well as undelivered, unpaid, procured goods during the latter part of the first semester. On item number 5, on the spending catch-up plans, to ensure that the OVP will be able to achieve high utilization and disbursement rates at the year end, the OVP will implement the following. First, we will release a grant of assistance under the Magnegosyo Tanay in the second semester of the year. The first semester of the year was dedicated to accepting applications and thorough paper review and ocular inspection. To date, the implementing unit is in the process of approving the accreditation of associations and processing of grant to individual and group applicants. Second, we will closely monitor the remaining projects under public bidding and ensure that the contracts will be awarded within the fiscal year. The items covered by the awarded contracts are to be delivered in the second semester, and the payment, disbursement for those items should be made before the end of 2024. On item number 6, major accomplishments of the OVP. As the second highest office in the land, the OVP aims to promote the welfare of every Filipino in line with its vision to create lasting impact on the lives of every Filipino through its socio-economic programs and services. In the past 2 years, we have successfully rolled out new programs such as the Libreng Sakay Pagbabago, A Million Learners and Trees Campaign, Kalusugan Food Trucks, and Pansarap Project. The OVP programs are implemented through our central office, satellite office, and extension offices. The OVP established satellite offices and extension offices which are strategically located in key areas in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to provide Filipinos with immediate access to the services offered by the OVP. In Luzon, we have the Cagayan Valley Satellite Office, Pangasinan Satellite Office, and Bicol Satellite Office. In Visayas, we have the Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor Satellite Office, Eastern Visayas Satellite Office, Panay and Negros Island Satellite Office, and in Mindanao, we have the Caraga Satellite Office, Southern Mindanao Satellite Office, Western Mindanao Satellite Office, and BARM Satellite Office. Sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, the Southern Mindanao carries the Northern Mindanao areas that are not covered by Western Mindanao and Caraga. We also established 2 extension offices in Tondo, Manila, and Lipa, Batangas. In 2023, we were able to cater to 977,615 beneficiaries out of the 670,300 targets. As of June 30 this year, we have served 684,830 out of the 1,013,620 target beneficiaries. And for 2025, we target to cater 1,139,244 beneficiaries. For fiscal year 2023, the OVP was able to achieve its targets for the outcome and output indicators. From a target of 670,300 beneficiaries, the OVP was able to serve 977,615 beneficiaries across all OVP services, which is 45% higher than target. From a target of 400, the OVP was able to establish or strengthen 793 strategic partnerships. From an 85% target for percentage of requests acted upon with standard processing time and percentage of projects with partners implemented as planned, the OVP achieved 98 and 100% respectively. For the percentage equivalent of average satisfaction ratings for OVP services, the OVP was able to achieve 97% satisfaction rating, 7 percentage points higher than the 90% target. The OVP was able to achieve its target number of ceremonial engagements completed. Out of the 2.4 billion budget in 2023, 2.3 billion was utilized, resulting to an obligation rate of 92%, and 2.1 billion was dispersed, which is equivalent to a 93% disbursement rate. For the current year, we are on track to achieve all our targets under physical performance. The OVP holds a distinct position in our bureaucracy. As the second highest office in the land, the OVP carries out functions that complement the work of other government agencies while advancing the well-being of every Filipino with a mission to deliver efficient, accessible, and responsive public service. Our work resonates at the core of the nation's welfare and progress. Shukran. Madam Chair, that